Whenever you are setting up your structure and you're teaching your parents how they're going to be communicated to, and you're giving them multiple different spaces to get that communication, you also want to make sure it's consistent. Hey guys, it's Ray from the Teach Better team, and we are going to be talking about communication tips and tricks with parents. And I was so excited when I saw this topic come across my desk as a vlog that we were going to be putting at teachbetter.com, because communication is actually a really, really fun topic for me to discuss. It's something I'm really passionate about, and it's something we just focused on during our second week of the Daily Drop-In Morning Show. Now, while the morning show did focus the entire week on communication in general, both with staff members and students and parents and stakeholders, I really wanted to bring to you as many tips and tricks in a really concise manner in this vlog. However, there are over 5 hours of dialogue on this conversation topic in the second week of the Daily Drop-In. So if you're looking for more from guests that were able to join us and share their insight, I would absolutely recommend you go check them out. Some key things that I want to highlight here on this specific blog are things I think you can do right this moment to get you started. So whether you're watching this a week before your school year starts or even 3 weeks into your school year, this is still really information that can be used at all times. So I've written some notes down, and here are some basic tips and tricks. All right, the first thing I want to mention is that depending on how you communicate, regardless of what you choose, regardless of what tips and tricks you take on this blog, you have to teach your parents, just like students, what to expect from you. So as you begin to maybe send a letter home or write a newsletter or send an email or use multimedia video to share your message, you really want your parents to understand the why and give them tips and tricks on how they can be successful with your specific communication style. This could be as simple as giving them the direction when you send a newsletter home to make sure that they post it on the refrigerator, or tell them when you send an email to only look for the highlighted sections, or teach them that if you send an email that's really specific with important event information, that they press the star on their email so they really show this is a really, really important topic. Regardless of what suggestions you might want to give them, giving them those tips and tricks on, essential skills and keeping them organized and also valuing your information and understanding what is expected of them is a really great strategy that you probably use all the time with your students that your parents are going to benefit from. Those parents that already have those skills won't maybe take you up on it, but those parents who may not have thought of using that organizational structure and having them really hold on to those suggestions is going to make a really big deal as you continue to move forward with your communication throughout the year. Some other things I wanted to focus on is the use of multimedia. I know I mentioned that earlier. I would love to challenge you to use more than communicating through text. While text has so many benefits, and we all use some sort of language and text to communicate back and forth, whether it's an email or reading the information at the bottom of this video for our blog, text is a great way to communicate. However, there are elements of text that are limiting. And so anytime you're able to share your face or share your voice in some of the communication that you provide can be extremely helpful. Something that you might consider is recording your voice in that you send in an email, maybe to further explain a topic, or maybe choose to flip on your camera and record a quick video. I would suggest always no more than 3 to 5 minutes, but a quick video sharing your excitement. Do this just like a parent phone call, right? You start with a positive, you share the important information, and you end with a positive, right? You always want them feeling good at the beginning and at the end of your communication. But this is going to allow your parents to not only hear your message in a different manner, but also see your excitement, understand your tone, and really feel connected to you, even though they may not be in front of you while they're getting that information. The last thing that I think is really, really important to mention during our conversation around communication comes down to consistency. Whenever you are setting up your structure and you're teaching your parents how they're going to be communicated to, and you're giving them multiple different spaces to get that communication, you also want to make sure it's consistent. So consistency is going to be a huge part of setting up those expectations and figuring out any of that clarity element that you want to make sure exists in your communication. So maybe you choose to communicate every Wednesday, or maybe you choose to communicate every Monday. I really want you to go through your schedule and say, what's going to be best for me? I actually just had a phone call with an educator that was saying that they wanted to communicate in some sort of really fun video every Monday. And we talked about the pros and cons of that. What a wonderful way to start your week, by sending out a video. And I bet your families are going to be so excited to hear some of the things that happened from the previous week and also some things they can look forward to for the upcoming week. However, weekends get busy and Mondays are nuts, so feel free to give yourself permission to maybe only respond and maybe only communicate on Wednesdays. Maybe Wednesdays is a better time so that way you have some time at the beginning of the week and some time at the end of the week to kind of shore up this system and make sure that you're as effective as possible in this consistency element. So regardless of how you're communicating, consistency has to be a part of it. Another form of kind of this organization and consistency that you might consider, especially if you're using email, came from a daily drop-in suggestion from the almighty Jeff Gargas over on the Teach Better team. He always suggests that when you send a new email, feel free to send the email at the top, the details at the top that you want, but then put a line and say anything below here, I've already communicated, but this is just a good quick reference. That allows a parent who might have 2 or 3 emails in their inbox waiting for them to read from you to make sure that they're getting the most up-to-date information at any time, and they're not missing information because they skimmed through an email that they overlooked in some way. So anywho, it sounds like communication is not only essential, but also really, really interesting and personalized depending on the type of educator you are. If you ever want to talk shop about communication strategies, please feel free to reach out anytime you need, whether it be to me or anybody on the Teach Better team. And of course, you can always pose your questions to our team, whether it be via email, by emailing somebody on the team, or always posting your comments live on Daily Drop-In. So we're here to support you, and I know that your communication this year will be better than ever.